Hey everyone, today I wanted to reiterate our favorite number one bullish equity sector that we still think has a lot of upside, and even if one hasn't bought it yet, we still think it's thus a great opportunity to still get into that part of the market. We are talking about energy, so let's have a look at this. I have two specific charts that I want to take a look at here with you guys. So let's have a look at this. Um, if you break down the uh, market by different sectors, by the way, that's if you haven't done that before, that's actually a simple way of getting a much better view, sort of, of how things are doing, absolute relative terms, and also you understand the macro environment more, which is really important. But before we look at any charts here, I have two things that I want to quickly actually one thing specifically I want to bring up, and what you want to look at here is if you go to my cursor, which is right here, you can see that the XLE, which is the energy sector ETF, represents energy stocks of the S&P 500. You can see it's up 56% for the year as of here into late October. And it's up 13% for the quarter. Now, one might think that constitutes chart chasing, but really, if you look at kind of what's going on in the energy sector from a more fundamental and structural perspective, our analysis points to potentially a lot higher price, particularly in the equities that are a part of this. So I brought along two charts, and I'm going to quickly bring open one of them here before we look at both of them together. Let's start off with this one here, and well, actually, no, let's start with the other one. Let's start out with this one here, which shows us the relative picture of essentially relative strength in this case of the energy sector, the XLE that we just talked about, that ETF, versus the S&P 500. I divided the XLE by the SPY to get this ratio chart. And this is one of two important charts here. And what you can see, if you want to be sort of, technical about it and call out pattern names, you could probably see that this might be some sort of an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which would have bullish implications, meaning the path of least resistance would be to the upside. So that's the relative strength underneath the surface if you look at energy versus the S&P 500. The other chart, and you saw it here a second ago, is this one. And what I did here is I took the particularly the oil services sector ETF, which is the OIH, and I have it along down here. It's the chart in candlestick patterns or in candlesticks, and you can see that it continues to do good things basically, and looks like it wants to move higher. But what's even more important and astounding, albeit it's also where the opportunity is if you look at that relative underperformance thus far of some of these OIH stocks, OIH constituents, Schlumberger and other ones, and you compare that to the price of oil itself, which is this orange line here. And you can see if there's any correlation here that's going to stick, there should be plenty of catching up to do with this price to this price up here. So that's really where we think the opportunity is. Last but not least, one of the reasons that we do really want to remain bullish in this space is because we really like what our market rover is doing in terms of giving us bullish signals on whether it's OIH or XLE, both of those ETFs we just talked about. This is OIH, and you can see it's been bullish this space since November of last year. If all you did is buy the OIH, then you'd still be up 51%. But we got a new bullish trend recently for people who may have not been in yet, and you can see that bullish trend here just started a few weeks ago in late September. So we think that's really just the beginning of another major move higher. So that is what we're looking at here. Hope it helps, and we'll see you in the next video.